But this by the end of this video, you'll know what it is, how long it is, what you're gonna get, what you can expect the outcomes to be, all of that kind of stuff.
If you'll notice, we have it structured in terms of 10 pieces of paper, each of which have 6 sections on it. So each weekend will essentially be taking a section of the course, breaking it down into 6 major distinctions. The videos we'll be going through each of those distinctions so that you'll, again, have them ready, have them available by the time you come into the course, so that when we come in, we can really get into the meat of it. So just going through the first 3 weekends, or the first 3 months, are about the context. And we start off with who you is, your being, what you're bringing, because as we talked about in the other video, everything about this course is about being completely you, being authentic and bringing your authentic self to the process of building a business, delivering a product, giving your gift. And so we're going to go through authenticity, agency, and how agency and vulnerability play in together. Very, very cool stuff. And then what does it mean to be a leader? What does it mean to actually suggest to someone, hey, let's you and I go here together, because if we go here together, there's something of value for you. What does it mean to be in that leadership position? And then how do you deal with the power around that with grace? So the first weekend is really about how you can step into your power, own it from a place of authenticity, vulnerability, even curiosity, love, caring, that kind of stuff. So, first weekend. Second weekend, we're going to go into who you are in terms of your identity, your brand. And we're going to talk about the vision. What is the vision that you are a part of, that you are expressing, that comes through you? What is the calling that you are called to? What is it that makes it worthwhile, purposeful? And then mission. How do you personally express that? What's the mission that you're going to do to make that vision a reality? What's the role that you take towards that? And what's the identity that you express within that role? Such that you can then say, here is the gift that I give. And weave all of that together into a brand. What is it that when people see you, when people hear you, that's what they get? Oh, that's what that person brings, your brand. So how do we bring all of this together such that you are who you are in a package, something that people can understand? Third, what we call niching, or your specialty, which is, okay, how do you take that vision, that brand that you're bringing together, and authentically offer it to people such that it speaks into their listening? You're going to offer your specialty, what it is you do, differently to different groups of people. What are the groups of people that you especially want to work with? How do you take your offering, your gift, and put it into a context, into a package that they can appreciate? That's what this weekend is really about. So we get into what are your specialties, your niches, how do you position yourself in the niche? What's the metaphor that describes who you are? So that people can get a narrative understanding, so that they can go, oh, that, I get it. What's the story that includes you and them and the development of them getting more of what they want? And then what's the takeaway? What's the thing that they say, ah, that's who that person is, that's what they have to offer me, that's something I can say yes or no to, in a way that if they say yes or no, each of you are deeper. So that's the context, first 3 weekends. Next is the content. And we might also call this marketing, which is how do you take your context and bring it down into a series of messages that invite people from where they are into the world where you can offer them what it is that you do. How do you move them from being someone out in the world to someone who's engaged in a conversation with you? And we talk about 3 weekends for that. First one is, how do you create a message? How do you actually take what you have to offer and put it into a form that someone can take in, taste, and then digest, metabolize, and then use the energy from it to actually go create something? So we talk about the messaging, how do you get their attention, how do you bring up and connect with their concerns, how do you offer solutions to the concerns? What kind of promises do you make in terms of if they work with you around those concerns? And then what are the actions that they can take in order to actually move from, hey, I'm interested, I'm actually going to move into taking action. How do you do that? Next weekend is about your system for marketing. How do you take all of the marketing that you want to do and put it into a step-by-step comprehensive system so that people know how to get in touch with you, and so that you know, I'm going to be doing this and this and this. Here are the different markets that I'm going to be going after. So I'll just review them really quick. Your local markets. Like, how do you actually deal with the people in your local area? How do you connect with them such that they know what you do and want to work with you? Then your communities. Who are the people that you hang with, right? Who are the parties that you go to, the groups of people that you go to events with, that you have shared values with, the communities? What are the industries? When you're niching yourself, how do you go after the particular industries where people can really use your services? The internet. How do you use the internet to actually build a presence? And that's going to do a lot with YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, the actual tangible, how do you build a presence on the internet? And then joint ventures. How do you partner with people who already have access to a market such that they take your product to their market and you get business through them, which is one of the most powerful ways to build your business. So that's the second weekend. Third weekend, we're going to talk about, you could say, the materials. How do you actually build materials that people can interact with such that you're not present? So business cards, how do you design and set up your business card? What do you want it to say? A one sheet. What's one piece of paper that you can give that talks about what you speak about? What it is that the audience will get such that you can get speaking gigs, and get speaking gigs both in person and in terms of teleseminars and various types of joint ventures. Then website. How do you actually build a website? What do you want on the website? How do you structure it? Email list. How do you take the people who are coming in and capture them in such a way that if they want more information, you can stay in contact with them and build a relationship with them through time, such that they can learn more and more about you, such that when it's appropriate for them to actually work with you, you have that relationship built. Next is, we could say, blog or a newsletter. How do you take your ongoing experience, your ongoing insights, and put them out to the world in such a way that you can begin to attract people from multiple venues around things that you're interested in? And then video and audio. How do you do videos and audio so that people can find you, such that people can get your message? So we can say, again, marketing. This is the content of how you take the context and translate it into a content. Now, the next 2 weekends are about communication. And this is, you could say, where the rubber meets the road in terms of building a business, right? You can define yourself all you want. You can set up all kinds of marketing processes. But it's when you are eye to eye with someone and you build an I to thou connection and you deal with the fact that you are you, agency, and you vulnerably connect with them to find out what their concerns are, to offer them a journey out, to offer them a gift that they might say yes or they might say no to. How do you do that? And how do you do that in terms of structure? How do you do that in terms of being able to be present? And how do you do that effectively in a way that works with the person's natural decision-making process, such that you can go step by step and make sure that you're not missing anything that ends up having them feel uncomfortable, and instead of telling you that they're uncomfortable, just kind of leaving, finding some excuse not to be in conversation with you. How do you deal with the relationship, the actual communion, the communication? This is where, as Guy would say, this is where the power of the powerful comes from. All the people who have made a difference in our lives, all the people who have made a difference in society, are the people who have, when it comes down to it, can look people in the eye and communicate with passion in a way that speaks to people.